National Ninja League Season 4 World Championship. That happened. Hello everyone, my name is William from 222 Productions, and for the past few years now, I have been going to the National Ninja League World Championship events every time they hold one. They've held 4 so far. I've been to all 4. The past 3 years prior to this one, I have talked about how much I love going to them, how great they are. I've done coverage of them, extensive coverage of them on my YouTube channel. In fact, I've talked about, just how great the National Ninja League is as a whole many times. But, gotta be honest, Season 4 World Championships could have been better. Hey everyone, it's me and Alex here. Basically, a little late last night, Alex sent me a text message saying that he needed a commentator for Wave 1, and he knew just the man for the job, but they weren't available, so he called me, said... so naturally, I took the opportunity, because why would I not take this opportunity? We just wrapped up. Had a lot of fun doing it.
Unfortunately, Wave 1 was a massacre. We had 40 people out on the swivel steps and 25 on the Monstro swing. And the one athlete that got to the wall, his back foot hit the black mat, and black is out on this course, so that was a course out.
Yeah, I guess you could say black is whack when it comes to this.
I am so glad we're on mute.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun doing it. I just want to say thank you to Alex for thinking of me.
Of course, yeah. You were the first person I called.
I appreciate it very much, and this was a lot of fun. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to do it. And now I am going to head out because I'm not officially staff of this.
Yeah, and I need to get food because I'm starving.
Yeah, so...
Hi, YouTube.
Yep. So we're going to go head out and maybe get some interviews or something or whatever. And gonna continue to have fun, and hopefully the rest of the waves yield better results, because Wave 1 had 0 clears. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna say a lot of not positive things about the Season 4 World Championships in this video. In fact, I'm going to be saying mostly not positive things during this video, talking about the National Ninja League Season 4 World Championships. But first, let's talk about some positives. One of the bigger positives first is that, much to my surprise, and this was not planned back when I did the preview video, I got to do commentary for the actual event. Yes, so as I was driving up Friday night, I got a text message from my friend Alex, who works for the National Ninja League, basically saying that due to a conflict of scheduling, they needed a commentator for Wave 1 of the Pro Division of the National Ninja League live stream, and he asked if I could do it. So naturally I said, yeah, sure, absolutely, I'll give it a shot. I like doing commentary for things, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And you know what? It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do, and I really enjoyed myself overall. Alex is a good commentator. Doing co-commentary with him was a lot of fun. I got to work off with him a bit. It helps when you're actually friends with someone who you're commentating with. So it helped. The whole thing. It was a good experience, and I'm glad that I got to do Wave 1 because I remember. Well, you know what? We'll get to that in a little bit. So this is the hole that broke that we are currently replacing right now. So this is the piece that came off right around here. Actually, it looks like there's a
second piece broke.
Chip.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a chip that's currently missing.
Yeah, Rebecca Rumsey.
For a brief second, I thought that was a New Japan shirt.
That's also what I thought. She spent the first 5 days after being in ICU. Wow, we really got to turn that down.
Wow. Ooh, that is loud. Ooh.
Anything's a pull-up bar if you're brave enough.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, she's motoring through.
Oof. Well, as long as that pull-up bar doesn't break on you like Rey Mysterio.
Oh, no! Wait, something.
Oh, her foot tapped. I think her foot tapped.
I think her foot tapped the cone.
Could someone break it again so I get another I want to get another chance to take a photo.
I'm sure somebody got a photo of it. Is Larry Simmons.
Hey. Here repping his grandfather Richard.
There we go.
Come on,
there
William!
Are stoppers. It goes about 90 degrees each way.
You're representing my name!
I can't tell who.
Go!
You look back at the commentator to say hello. Hopefully we will see Wes on commentary later today. I think we said wave 4. He actually signed up to commentate this wave, but clearly could not.
Thanks, Wes.
So, yeah, those were some of my favorite moments from the live stream. I highly recommend you go and watch the whole thing for yourself. The entire thing is on the National Ninja League YouTube channel. It was a lot of fun to do. Once again, thank you to Alex. And if you guys need help, hey, I'll be glad to help you guys out. And hey, if you want to hire me full-time, you can go ahead and do that. I will gladly commentate the whole thing for, some compensation. I'm not doing the whole event for free, It was fun, though. It was fun. I don't mind doing it for free for one wave as a favor. It's fine.
Hey guys, look who I found.
Hey, what's up?
James McGrath. How's it going, James?
Going pretty well right now.
How's the shoulder doing?
Ooh, that's not going so well.
Well, hopefully you'll be good enough for when they compete in Washington in AEW this year.
Oh god, yeah, I'm really hoping to get ready to hit the course by the time Tacoma comes around. What is that, May 10th and 11th or 11th and 12th?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm really hoping for that because, man, go back home to go compete. That's like living the dream.
I could imagine how good that would feel, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you have a new job. You want to plug your new gym that you're working at?
Yeah, the Grit Ninja in Pleasantville, New York. We just opened up like 4 weeks ago, and things are going really, really well. We got some really high quality ninja coaches. There's myself, there's Yancey, there's Henry Ferrarin, who does the whole Ninja for a Cure, and Yancey Quisada,
something like that. Yeah.
Yancey's probably just like shaking his head at me right now. But yeah, a lot of experience, great people, great coaches. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, so make sure you guys check that out if you're in the area. I will attempt to visit that sometime later this year. So make sure you go visit James and follow him on Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz. I'll put links and all that jazz, in the description, all that.
So let's talk about the actual venue itself. The XL Center, specifically the basement of the XL Center, which I guess is technically an exhibition hall, is where they held it. This place was not big enough for this event. To give you an idea, there was 6 courses set up in this area, and for the spectators, there just wasn't enough room. It throughout the entire day, especially on Saturday, it got more and more congested. It got more and more crowded to the point where it was very hard to move in certain areas in order to watch. It was very uncomfortable. Plus, for certain areas, getting a good view of the course was very challenging. For example, at most, every course is only going to have 2 sides available to you. In fact, here I'm going to quickly draw out like an example right here. So basically, every course was like this. They were in pairs of 2s. Now, so you got this section up here, which is for the competitors. So these remaining 3 sides here are for the actual spectators. This section in between the 2, they're so close together that it doesn't make a difference. You can't see it. I can't see it. You can't go there at all. So you only have 3 sides. What made it worse with the the pros and masters is that they were right up against the wall. So this side right here was where the masters is. This wall, you're not allowed to stand there if you're a spectator. So for the masters, you literally only had one side if you wanted to watch that in person. Or you can watch through the pro division. Also, they did the young adults in the masters section also. The other important thing that I think is worth mentioning is that every course had a spider walk at the end. And so I'm going to quickly map this out. For a lot of areas, the spider walk was this section right here, and where the X is going to be where the starting line is. So the X is where the starting line is, and the arrow is like the projection of the course. And seeing through the actual spider walk when you're on this side, it's a bit challenging. So actually seeing the beginning of the course where the steps were was a bit challenging at times to kind of see through the wall, especially because there was this one section where there was this, blacked out section. And then during stage 2, during the pro division for stage 2, one of the main challenges as a viewer, especially where I was sitting, is that they had this section of the spider walk, closed off. Basically, you have to, there's supposed to be a gap that you can skip, but instead of being an actual gap, it is they just blacked it out. And where I was standing in the spectator area, I literally could not see the second obstacle of stage 2 being done. And so you have this problem where I can't view it, and moving around wasn't really that much of an option because it was already so crowded around me. And so whenever someone failed that second obstacle of stage 2, I had to go by the reactions of the crowd because I couldn't see it. So if they failed, if I hear everyone go, "Oh," I'm like, okay, well, now I know they failed. As for the XL Center itself, the other thing was that besides just not being big enough in the downstairs area, XL Center was very strict in terms of outside food and beverages. Originally, to my understanding at least, they were allowing everyone to bring one bottle of water and one snack. And at some point, unless I completely misunderstood this, they changed it to just competitors can do that. And so when you're inside the XL Center, you can only eat what they were offering in their snack stand. And honestly, it wasn't much. I had a hot dog every day because it's the only thing I really wanted to eat. And yeah, maybe I could have gone outside more, but I'm a kind of a person who doesn't like wasting time. And that means I would have had to go out, get the food, and eat the food outside the XL Center and then come back. But I don't know. I'm weird with timing and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, basically for all 3 days for lunch, I had a hot dog.
All right, so for lunch, I got a hot dog. It's a beef hot dog from the XL Center. Let's test this thing out. It's good. Standard hot dog. It's hard to mess up a hot dog. It's good enough.
Also, I had some nachos during the last day, stage 2, because gosh darn it, I really wanted nachos at that point after the weekend I was having, and they're exactly how you think they tasted, and I love that cheap tasting cheese sauce. One final thing I will mention is that when we finally got to the final stage 3 for the teen/pro division, they were at least allowing people to sit within the Stage 2 area, because basically this is the location of where Stage 2 was, and this is Stage 3, which was the original Masters course. And allowing people to sort of sit where Stage 2 was in order to get like a better view of Stage 3, especially because it's right up against the wall. There's, then there's not a lot of seating around that area. I at least appreciated that they let people do that. And if we weren't allowed to do that, I appreciated that no one policed that. Yeah, but seating, they need a bigger venue. Like, I don't know how much this cost for them, and I don't know how much more expensive it would have been to get the arena upstairs, but when they are picking their location for next year, it needs to be a bigger location. Like, I'm sorry, it was just not big. It was just not big enough for what they wanted to do.
Hi everyone, I am currently with someone who you might not know, but you definitely should know in a few years or so. This is Joseph Meissner. Say hi to everyone.
Hey everyone, what's up?
Now, for those of you who don't know, Joe, he's only 17 right now, but he is actually a really strong competitor, and he's really good. Check him out on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior, but just Joe in the middle.
There you go. He's done some pretty impressive stuff with, there was one where you got like a really high on a cannonball upside down, I believe, or something like that.
I think it's unstable bridge. Yeah, I did a lache, I grabbed the unstable bridge with my feet.
There you go.
I've never seen anyone do this, but it looks fun, so I just try to do everything looks fun.
And you did like, I believe you did like a salmon ladder with the sky hooks or something like that.
I did do that.
Cane lane hooks, yeah.
I did do that, yeah.
Yeah, so this guy, this is a ninja. This is definitely a ninja to keep an eye on in the future, both in NNL and eventually when he's old enough to compete on A&W. He's definitely a future star in the making. So keep an eye on him. He's going to be good.
So the last thing they had inside the actual building was they had vendors all in different locations inside the expo hall. And there was a lot of stuff. There was like a lot of shirts being sold, products being sold, like chalk was being sold. There was promotions for various things. If you want to buy their services. I didn't buy anything, partially because I forgot to buy stuff. I was originally planning on buying stuff, but then I forgot. So, whoops. Guess that's what happens when you decide, oh, I'll buy tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you just completely forget. But I did get, I don't know, free stuff. So I guess I'll just show some of the free stuff. So what is it? A1 Awards. They produced the trophies for the National Ninja League Finals, which, by the way, I really like the look of. I think they did a good job with the trophies. They also did medals and for the Rec League, and they do trophies and medals for other gyms and stuff. So I got this bag from them. I got, so Delano Hines was there, and he gave me this handkerchief promoting Barbados, because that's where he's from. So that was nice. I was wearing it the most of the time after he gave it to me, as, because he's such a nice dude. And I also got this flyer promoting his hotel, let's see, Rosefoire Hotel. Ooh, I feel like I butchered that. I apologize, Delano. Where is... Oh, there it is. I dropped it. Let's see. Ultimate Obstacles was giving out these little wristbands, rubber wristbands. What we got in here? So we got some business cards. We got Monstro. They were one of the sponsors. Neighborhood Ninjas, another sponsors. There were the Ninja Babes were a sponsor too, and I don't have their card. I thought I did. I must have forgot it. Also, at some point, they put out advertising for American Ninja Warrior Jr., as well as these temporary tattoos, which I don't wear temporary tattoos, so I literally only got this for this video, so don't need that. But yeah, these flyers promoting American Ninja Warrior Jr., which just got renewed for a second season, so good for them for being more successful than Ninja vs. Ninja. Saturdays at 7. I assume that's still true at this point. So yeah, that is all the free stuff that I got from the vendors. So let's talk about some of the more negative stuff, shall we?
If A&W would actually air his runs.
So, let me start from the beginning about my personal thoughts on Stage 1, as well as my personal experience being a spectator during Stage 1 the first 2 days. It was rough. That was the word of the weekend for me when talking to people. It was rough, but I think it's more than just that. So it's Friday night, technically early Saturday morning. I'm in my hotel, I'm trying to fall asleep. For some reason, I can't fall asleep. I don't know why. I turn on my phone, look to see if they put up the rules video, because they were kind of late. I feel like they were kind of late putting up the video of the course. And I ended up watching the course on my phone, and my initial reaction was, oh, that's it? And I admit that might sound a little harsh, but I was not the biggest fan of the course right away, just from like first impressions. Before I continue, I think it's worth mentioning kind of like the background of how the finals are done in terms of who designs the courses. So whoever is the host gym gets to design the course for the finals. So for example, with season 1, it was hosted at Movement Lab. So that was done by Chris Wilczewski and his crew. Season 2 was Apex NorCal. So that was designed by Brian Kretsch, Alan Keneally, and their crew. Season 3 was hosted by Ninja Quest Fitness, so that was designed by Ryan Stratus and the rest of his crew. And this year, for Season 4 World Championships, it was technically hosted by the Real Life Ninja Academy, which means that the course was designed by Drew Dreschel and his people. Now, I understand that Drew had a huge task at hand, designing 6 courses and not being able to use anything that is already located in his gym for the event. And he had DGS helping him to build the rigging and everything. And I understand that it was a very hard task for him. With that said, that doesn't change the fact that I personally think the course was kind of boring. And I don't mean just from the results. We'll get to the results. I do think that the course itself was not super exciting. Even from the beginning, I was not like super excited by the course, and then things got worse. But I will say, mostly everything was well built. Mostly. I'll get to that in a minute. And I think for all 3 stages, I wasn't super excited about the course design. Ironically, I think I actually liked the course design in regards to stage 2 and 3 more for some of the younger designs than the older people. We'll get to that in a little bit. But for stage 1, the first obstacle was the swivel steps, and this obstacle sucked. I'm sorry. This was a bad obstacle. This was the one obstacle I will say was not built well, and in fact, it was a little on the unfair side. So, just to give you a background, so these steps they swivel. Basically, there's this blocking mechanism, so it turns, but there's 2 points that the minimum and maximum amount of turn that you can have for the steps themselves. The steps are Velcro material on the outsides. I presume that gives the designers and the course people the opportunity to turn the steps however way they want. So because you can choose between a steeper angle or a shallower angle if they need be. So from an intuition standpoint, I think that was a good idea. To my understanding, there's not a lot of grip on the Velcro, and it doesn't help that the steps were so close to the floor, so that like a simple slip where could cause some issues, and you accidentally touch the floor and be declared out, and a lot of people went out on the steps, including some of the big name people who went out. It was very awkward. But my biggest problem with the swivel steps is that they can tip. They could tip very easily for the bigger competitors. So basically they get on, and as it's turning, just from the fact that they're so big, it tips over. And I don't think that's right. And so one of the arguments that I heard, because I talked to people who are part of the staff or who talk to other staff, so I hear some of the behind the scenes stuff. One of the issues that people had was that you're not allowed to use chalk on stage 1. And the reason I was told for what led to that decision was because A&W doesn't allow chalk on stage 1 of their show. But A&W also doesn't have obstacles that tip over. Basically, the steps they're connected to the safety foam, the foam mat on the bottom, but the foam mat wasn't secured to anything really, and so just seeing the steps tip over for people was so frustrating. And I just remember during Wave 5, at some point you can audibly hear me get frustrated and angry at these steps, where people in the audience, could hear me and were responding to me, to my frustrations. I wish they secured the mat that the steps were on better. Whether it's like they could have used like some straps to sort of strap it down, like have some rigging on the outsides of the area, and use the straps to try to hold it down, or maybe just use some rigging to hold it down on the edges or combine it to the edges. Do something. Something needed to be done to keep those steps in place, because that tipping is not good. It was not fair at all, because it was almost consistently tipping over for the larger competitors, at least from what I saw. And honestly, the steps, they're very awkward. I'll get to it a little bit, but I think they're a bit too awkward for a Ninja Warrior obstacle. That's just my opinion. The second obstacle was called the Jigsaw. And so you had, basically it's the rope maze from Viking. It's just hilarious because that same week I did the Armchair Ninja podcast talking about Viking, and they have the rope maze in stage 2 of that course. And so when I saw this obstacle, I'm like, yeah, this is totally based on the rope maze from Viking. It's an easier version because it's 4 ropes instead of just 1. And so you can there's a lot of shortcuts you can take swinging from the ropes, but it's a fine obstacle. It's an obstacle where you can get caught in no man's land and stuff. I'm not a biggest fan of the rule that if you hit one of the pillars, you can get DQ'd. That's just me. I know there's arguments for and against it. I'm kind of the opinion that, you know what? If, unless they're kicking off or grabbing the pillar, it's fine. But, if they swing and they bump into it, it's whatever. Just let them go. And then there was the really, really problem obstacle. The first obstacle was pretty problematic. Third obstacle, super problematic. The Monstro swing. So, to say this obstacle was difficult would be an understatement, because the Monstro swing, there was, I believe, 335 people in the pro division who competed, something around there, somewhere around that number. And in total, 15 people made it past the Monstro swing. Total. Not a single woman made it past the third obstacle in the pro division. Not a single woman made it. Not a single person made it past the third obstacle in the masters division. It was a brutal obstacle, and I'm going to do a really quick sketch of why this is so tough. This is tougher than any obstacle that has appeared in A&W. It is way harder than the flying squirrel or twist and fly or anything like that. And I'm going to show you why. So this is the general gist of what the monster swing looks like. So you have the pole here, you have your handles. These are nunchucks that are hanging upside down. Now, the nunchucks, they're free swinging. They're chains that are free swinging. Also, this right here, the part where the handle connects to the pole, it swings in all directions. And so when you grab the hold, especially when you're transferring from the first to the second, you have to grab both holds basically at the same time while holding your weight and being able to just compensate for the fact that you can go in any direction as you're holding it. And they're vertical, and you have no chalk at all in order to grab them. And you have to turn 90 degrees to get to the landing platform for the pro division. That's what you had to do. And it's just really tough because it is such a small room for error. And this is sort of the problem that I have with this course, especially obstacles 1 and 3, is that the point of Ninja Warrior is that you only get one shot. And so when you're designing a course, you have to make obstacles that, in theory, a talented athletic person could do in one try, on their first try, more specifically. And those two obstacles were not it. They're not Ninja Warrior obstacles. They're not good Ninja Warrior obstacles, I should say. And the other thing that made the monster string so tough is that the second one, when you grab it, you technically start swinging to the right away because of how the mechanism works. Because it's technically being held like this, right here. And so as soon as you grab the second swing, it's going to start swinging this way. So there's so many different movements, and so many people just fell and just couldn't hold on because it's so tough and there's such a little room for error. It's some of the things that I criticize A&W themselves for with stage 2. You know, between Wingnut Alley and Deja Vu, like, you know, even though on their own I like those obstacles, but you have a stage 2 where you're asking people to do multiple precision laches. It's tough. It's tough. And doing that in stage 1 for the NNL finals is very tough. The monster swing is not a first stage obstacle. It's quite frankly not a second stage obstacle. It's a third stage obstacle at best. This should not have been put in stage 1. And honestly, I would love to know how much testing was done into this obstacle. Like, did anyone besides Drew who tested this complete this obstacle? And also I want to know how many times did it take Drew to complete this obstacle? Because if the answer is more than one, maybe he should have considered nerfing it. That's sort of my thing. And then one of the other issues that I had in regards to the younger demographic, because a lot of the kids had... So one of the things with stage 1 is that the courses were easier. They were all, you know, they were scaled down based on the age groups. But for the younger groups that had the monster string with the 2 holds in it, one of the complaints that I heard from, say, some of the coaches and some of the parents was that the grips were just too far apart for them. They literally borderline impossible for them to grab it because their arms were not long enough to do it. You know, I had one coach talk to me how, like, one of the kids that they were coaching is a literal champion rock climber, but her arms were just not long enough to get the full wingspan correctly And so that, she couldn't really do the obstacle, according to this person. And that's an issue. That's another issue. Because, like, you can't, it's really hard to compensate for that when you're just not big enough. So yeah, I just don't think this was a good obstacle. And I'll get, in terms of the crowd reactions, let me get through the rest of the course first. So then it was the warped wall. What was really weird is that all 3 stages had the warped wall, and I assume that is because they knew they would not have time to remove the warped wall in between stages. It's weird that all 3 stages had the warped wall, but I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. It's fine. And then was the shield slider, which I think is cool. It is very much a filler obstacle, but it's cool. It's fine for what it was. And then was the shape escape, which was this bridge obstacle. And I got a really good example of the differences between the different age groups. So I got footage of what the adult course looks like for shape escape, and then the kid course. The kids, the shapes are much easier to traverse than the adult shapes. Shape escape is interesting in that you really, I wouldn't say it was a very challenging obstacle. It was challenging. I think it was difficulty wise. I think it was right. Maybe should have been earlier. I am curious about the safety of that obstacle. So when I first saw the obstacle, I was concerned about the safety because there wasn't a lot of protection underneath the shapes. But I was told, don't worry, the obstacle is actually pretty safe. And there was a layer of foam, but it wasn't the thick mats that you would associate with safety pads. And then there was an incident with the young adult division where someone got injured. There were 2 injuries on day 1. I don't know what happened to the first person, but I know with the second person, I believe they did a scorpion and basically went through the shapes and hit the bottom. And I was there. I was in the audience on the pro section, and basically the paramedics came out. They strapped him up to the paddle board because at the time he wasn't moving. I didn't film any of this because I don't want to film that stuff. Apparently he's okay, so I'm glad to hear that. But it was a very scary moment. But it created this weird scenario on day 2. For those of you who don't know, waves 1 through 4 were conducted on Saturday, and then on Sunday they did wave 5. They did this thing in the middle of wave 5 where they let anyone who failed the shape escape a chance to run again. And the reason they did that was because they added a safety pad underneath that made the obstacle. They also made the obstacle easier. As a unattended result, because the shapes would go down low enough that they were technically resting on the pad, so they felt it was fair to let people go again. But what I find weird, and this is just me noticing as a spectator, was that it seems like they added the pad in the middle of wave 5, and I'm kind of curious why they didn't wait until they didn't add the pad in between waves 4 and 5. It was very weird that they let, because there was people in wave 5 who failed the shape escape who got to run again because they added the pad in the middle of the shape escape. I'm just curious about the decision making about that. It was very weird. And then the final obstacle was the spider walk to the button. Now, I'll say this again. This was rough. The stage 1 was rough, as a spectator. There was a lot of people who were not happy with this course from an enjoyment perspective. Because you got to understand, I know people are promoting Ninja as a sport. They want to make National Ninja League a sport. And I totally get that. But the moment that you start charging for spectator tickets, You got sponsors. You're doing live streams. What you're doing is a form of entertainment. You know, football, basketball, professional baseball, all that stuff, all those sports you see on TV. There's an entertainment factor to it. There's always going to be an entertainment factor to it. The moment that you are charging people to watch your show, or you're making money off of people to watch your event, there is a form of sports entertainment involved. You know, National Ninja League, they might present themselves as a sport, but they are also a form of sports entertainment. And so the crowd got more and more negative as the day went on for Saturday. I remember when I did the commentary for Wave 1, my initial thoughts were, okay, no one cleared, but, you know, the people who ran Wave 1 were people who had the lowest scores during the league, which means that they were the lowest seeded competitors. So in theory, that means they were, you know, for the most part, they were the less talented ones, so to speak, you know, the less likely to clear. You know, it's like that every year. The early waves always yield some of the lower results. So I thought nothing of it, of having 0 clears. And then Wave 2 had 0 clears, and I got very nervous at that point. I'm like, oh boy. And it wasn't just the pro division. The other divisions all had low clear rates as a total. In fact, I did the math of all 7 age groups. Only 59 people cleared stage 1. Now, I remember talking to some people who were involved with the NNL, and for the pro division, I was told that the goal was to have 60 people clear stage 1. You know how many people actually cleared stage 1 in the pro division? 7. Not 60, but 7 people cleared stage 1. That is barely 10% of their goal. If this was a Kickstarter, it would be embarrassing, the amount of clears that they got. Man, this was rough. People were not happy. There are competitors who are not happy with the NNL for various reasons, not just the course stuff. I'm not going to get into some of the other stuff, but there's various reasons why people are unhappy with some of the people in the NNL. I heard a lot of parents complaining. This whole idea is like, oh, we spend all this money to get here just to fail the first obstacle. Some people are complaining that the course was only 7 obstacles long, and they said it from a mindset that like the qualifiers are like 15 obstacles long. And I think, to be fair, I think that's kind of misplacing it, because the World Championships is 3 stages, so there's way more than 7 obstacles. If you add all together, it's like this. It's more obstacles than a qualifier generally. I just felt so bad, and me personally as a spectator, I was just so down. I was so down watching this. I was, to the point where on Sunday I had a friend, I won't say who, I had a friend tell me that they were surprised to see me show up on Sunday because of how down I was on the course on Saturday. Because, honestly, not only was it not interesting to watch, I don't think it was the most interesting course at all. I just want to reiterate that. Seeing so many people fail the first 3 obstacles is frustrating. It's boring. It's uninteresting. The general feeling was so down. And yeah, Andrew Horner was the first man to clear stage 1. A lot of people were excited. I was at the point where when I saw people clear, I was tired, man. I remember specifically during Wave 5, seeing Adam Rail clear stage 1. In theory, I should have been happy to clear, see a clear. I just didn't care at that point. And it has nothing to do with Adam Rail or any of the other competitors. I was just at the point where I was just like, man, this sucks. I'm sorry. This is bad. I just don't care. I stopped caring. And I can't believe I said that, because like the first 3 years I was, at the end of stage 1, I was like, oh man, I wish we had more runs just so I can see more. I was into all the clears. Like there were so many clears last year and I was into all of them. Beginning to end, I was into every run. I was just done halfway through of stage 1 this year. In fact, I conducted interviews with Chris Wilczewski and Josh Levin in the middle of wave 3. The first 3 years, I would never do an interview in the middle of runs, partially because A, I was recording all the runs, and B, I wanted to watch all the runs. I had no problem doing an interview with Chris and Josh because I didn't care if I missed the runs anymore, because, yeah, I watched some of the younger stuff. A lot of kids had similar difficulties. Oh, God, I just felt so bad. It was a bad feeling weekend, especially during stage 1. I'm sorry. This was not good. It was not a great course, and the results were not great either. And I'm sure there's more and more I can say to talk about this. The last thing I just want to say about stage 1 is that thank goodness I already decided I wasn't going to record all the runs for YouTube, because A, the filming would have been really rough to do, just because of the seating arrangements, and B, the footage would have been so incredibly bad that honestly I probably wouldn't have bothered uploading it. Like, I'll upload clips to this video, but I would have had no interest in doing the full runs like I did in the past. This was rough. It made me sad. It made me frustrated. It made me bored at times. Just a lot of bad feelings overall. And I am genuinely concerned, and I know I'm not the only one concerned, that this is going to damage the NNL and the potential for Ninja to be a sport in the future. Just because, like, I don't know, how many people this turned off. I hope it didn't turn off people. There's no way that this is going to happen again, but like I said, stage 1 as a spectator was rough.
So when you grab the second set, it drops down. And like jumps you back. And I guess I just didn't realize I was going to happen.
It's like a double drop.
Yeah.
Grandma says you did good, my mother.
Thanks. That first set, I was like, there's no way I'm going to, like, it did turn. And then the first set, I was like, there's no way I'm going out of this. So I'm just like,
Yeah, my mom's watching on YouTube. She sees Sam.
So stage 2 was interesting in that I actually enjoyed watching the younger age groups before we got to the pro division. In fact, I would say up until the pro/single young adult stage 2, I was enjoying stage 2 as a whole. I think for the younger age groups, it was a fun little course, but for the pro division, I think kind of similar to stage 1, it was a bit overproduced, I don't know, overdone, a little too outlandish in terms of, like, you got these difficult obstacles and a bit crazy. I'm just going to go through kind of the course, but I just wanted to give a shout out. I know I'm not the only one to mention this, but from the teen division, there was a run by Ethan Bartnicki. Probably not getting that right, but whatever. He had an amazing stage 2 run where he finished the course with literally a second left on the clock, and just an amazing recovery to finish with so little time left. I literally started doing the rock clap meme. Because I was right there. I was actually sitting where the final stage, where the button was at the end of stage 2, and I was just like, yeah, good job. That was great. But yeah, like I said, I actually liked stage 2 for all the younger divisions. It was the pro division I had the issue with. So it started off with the drum hopper. Kind of weird that it was in stage 2, but whatever. And then you had the devil bookshelves, which was like these vertical, planks that you had to grab from. And then was the problem child of stage 2, the diagonal, the vertical salmon ladder, the horizontal salmon ladder, I don't know what it was. Basically, you had to do the salmon ladder, but it was at a 45-degree angle going backwards, so it was like up and out, and you had to grab it. It was really weird, and I just looked at it and be like, that's just awkward. Like, that is asking too much of people. I thought it was I didn't think it was a great obstacle, personally. Of the 7 people, only 2 people got past it. And then when they got to the top, they had to go down and go up again. For the teen division, they just had to do the down and up thing. I thought that was fine, but not a fan. Not a fan of that obstacle. And really, of all the people who cleared that obstacle, they cheesed it, because one of the rules for NNL is that, like, competitors are allowed to do obstacles as long as they get to the end however they want, with, like, a few exceptions in terms of, like, hands only, feet only, that sort of stuff. And, basically, the people who cleared it, which was Matt Strollo and Adam Rail, and later Flip did the same thing, but he failed the dismount, was they basically went around the rigging and then just went up. That is so cheesy. That is the definition of cheesing an obstacle, and I just, like, I don't blame them for doing it, but if everyone had to do the obstacle the sort of intended way, I am convinced none of them would have cleared it. I think it is too awkward of an obstacle to ask them to do on their first try. And then afterwards was this combination walking bar, flying bar obstacle that I wasn't really a fan of in the pro form. Then the flywheels, then the warped wall again, and then the sky hooks, which very weird arrangement of hooks, because the optimal path is just going straight, so that was a bit weird. And then was the spider walk, and basically, like I said, spider walk but with a gap in the middle. And what was weird was that, similar to the warped wall, they couldn't get rid of the spider walk rigging. It appears, and so they kept it in. And so the fact that all 3 stages ended with the spider walk was unfortunate. I do think it kind of took away from stages 2 and 3 the fact that they both had spider walk and warped wall. But in the end, there was only one man who cleared stage 2, and that was Adam Rail, at least in the pro division. And so, yeah, stage two was good for the younger divisions. I wish they went through stage two faster. There was a lot of downtime in between each age range. A few things. So first off, I get to the XL Center 8 o'clock because I thought, they were going to do multiple times age groups at once. I get there and I'm like, where are the pros? I thought we were doing pros at the same time as the younger groups. Nope, turns out that's not happening. They're doing each age group individually, which was not the original plan. But I guess because they had so few clears, they decided to push, do that. The time, it felt weird that it took so long to do rules and stuff. I wish things went faster, especially because, I'll just say it right now. We didn't end on Monday until 9:30 at night, when I think the original plan was like 6:30-ish. So kind of went 3 hours long than what I had expected, which was weird. Yeah. Oh boy. Is there anything else? Yeah. So that's stage two. Whatever. I wasn't a fan of the pro course, but the other courses was fine. I just wish everything went faster.
Got beside him. Yo. You got Adam.
So, stage 3. At least for the pro division, not a lot of suspense heading into stage 3.
The real question is, can Adam Rail beat Adam Rail on stage 3?
But for the younger age groups, it was fun to watch, especially the, I believe, mature kids. Some of the people got pretty far in, which was nice. I don't necessarily agree with the decision to have the teenagers to run the same course as Adam Rail. I get the mindset, but I just don't think they were ready. And also, there was this weird thing that was going on with the teen division where you could clear an obstacle without actually doing the obstacle and then do the obstacle. I'll get to that. Okay, I should just explain. So first up for stage 3 for the teen and pro division was the Devil Steps. You can only grab one side because one of the themes for the course was, red is good, black is bad. Don't touch the black. And then was I believe it's called the Nail File, which was like this sliding cliffhanger. It's all right. I don't know if it's more or less difficult than a cliffhanger normally. I just think, I don't know. It was all right. I wasn't like super enamored with it personally, but it's whatever. It was a cool idea. I just don't think the execution made it super exciting. But that's just me. Maybe I was just tired at that point. And then was the unguard salmon ladder. And this was weird. So basically you had to go up this ladder doing the in and out motion. I don't think the bar seemed to have a bit of a bend to it from my perspective. I like where the idea was coming from. I don't like the execution. I don't think I fully like the obstacle. I appreciate the effort to make creativity, but I do think that like maybe it should have just, been a normal on guard. And then went into this thing called the gumdrop, which is basically like the battering ram, but only the transfers from the cylinders. And this was sort of like the weirdness of the course where the teenagers were doing this kip up from the bottom of the on guard to touch the lollipop, which technically is not lollipop, gumdrop, which technically means they cleared the on guard to get this, because it's a checkpoint system to determine who wins. But then they would try the on guard salmon ladder, which is really weird. I feel like that should not be a thing. That's my opinion. they got to rework the rules for that. And then finally, after that was it was the time bomb. But what was weird is that like in the beginning of the day, the time bomb in the pro course was not set up yet. So when I first got there was just this big gap, and I'm like, don't know what's there. I imagine they spent a lot of time building the courses in between stage 1 and stage 2, because basically after stage 1 was done, everyone got redemption time to try out stage 1 again, do all the obstacles, have fun, all that sort of stuff. I think that it was good that they did that. Maybe I should have tried to sneak on the court. Nah, that was bad. I wouldn't do that. But I imagine it must have took a lot of time to build all the courses again, and there was like a weird. I am kind of curious, like how much time they spent building everything the night before. It seemed like a lot of work, and so I think. I think the fact the time bomb wasn't built yet when I got there Monday morning is an indicator of how much time they used building the course and how much time they didn't have afterwards, because they had to sleep too. I don't know. It was weird. But then it was the vertical limit, an easier version of the vertical limit. The lip is bigger. Then the warped wall again, which, again, weird. Followed by the hang climb, and then a 2-cane version of Cane Lane, and finally was supposed to be the body prop, but to my understanding, from what I was told, They didn't have time to make the walls wider for the body prop, or they just couldn't. I don't know, some sort of issues or whatever. So instead, it was a spider walk, but only with your feet.
Very clean and smooth. Way of figuring things out when he's up and on there. Here we go. Sliding it on out through there, making a quick turnaround, locking it off so strong. All these little bruises down underneath here. Let's hear it for Adam!
So like I said, watching the younger kids was fun. The kids and mature kids division, it was a fun little course to watch them do. The teens was fine. You know, I don't think they should have done that difficult version of the course, but I understand why they did it. Just for time restraints. And then for Adam Rail to take on stage 3, even though, like, I agree with letting him run stage 3, he earned it, but there wasn't a lot of suspense, you know? It was like, oh man, who's going to win? I don't know. So to make things more interesting, I made a bet with Alex. I gave him 100-to-1 odds if he would bet money on Adam Rail completing stage 3. And he bet $1, which means if he won, I had to pay him $100. Guess what result I was rooting for? Fortunately for me, Adam failed the unguarded salmon ladder, so didn't have to pay any money. And I told Alex to just donate the money to charity, the $1 in my name. And he said he would donate more money than just $1. So I don't know what charity he picked, but hey, I won some money for you. So congratulations. They let Adam. I do like that they let Adam continue to try the course afterwards. He did he basically did a kip up move without actually doing the unguarded salmon ladder to get to the gumdrops, and then he was able to make it all the way to the Cane Lane section before he fell again. So even if he did that big jump transfer the first time around, I at least can sleep calmly knowing that I wouldn't have lost the $100 either way. So that's good for me. Oh boy. And then we had the award ceremony. Before I kind of talk about the winners, because I want to give all the winners their due, one of the things that I want to mention was the review system. So everyone was entitled to submit a review request if they felt like a bad call was made on them failing. And throughout the course, the refs had the ability to throw a yellow flag, which indicated that the run needed to be reviewed about whether or not a rule was broken or if they touched the ground or something like that. I was talking to a young fan who also competed. Hey, and they were telling me that one of their friends completed the course but was under review. And originally they were told, hey, you're good. You moved on. We reviewed it. You're good. But then, the next day, they were told, oh, actually, you failed. I think that is not good. You know, I'm thinking like to the NFL, like if there's that, you know, one of the rules for the NFL when they do video review is that it has to be clear in order to reverse a call. If the original call is they cleared, you need to be absolutely certain that they failed and make the call to disqualify them. If it is not clear that they failed an obstacle, you have to call clear. That is my personal opinion. It has to be, you have to be certain in the video review that they actually failed. Because also just changing your call, like referee call should be final after a review. Like, you know, you can't call backsies on that. So yeah, I don't think that was right. I think they made a bad decision with that. Even if it turns out he actually did fail, like you already told him he cleared, like, you know, you gotta live with that. You know, you gotta stick by that. And also with the award ceremony, I just remember them taking forever to announce the male teen awards. In fact, they ended up doing the awards for the female pro division before they did the male teen division, just because they were reviewing something that would have affected the top 3 spots. And they were taking so long, and there just comes a point where it's like, you gotta make a call. You know, again, like, if it's clear that they failed an obstacle, then fine. But if it's not clear that they failed an obstacle, then, you know, they cleared it. That's my mindset. If it's not, you know, certain that they failed an obstacle, they cleared it. That's my personal opinion on things, and I just think that, like, they should have handled that better.
In first place,
So I'm just going to go through the results for all the age groups. I'm going to do the top 3 of each division, all 14 divisions, and I apologize in advance for all of the all of the names I'm about to mispronounce. But let's go through this really quickly. So kids female, top 3 was Charlotte Barrett, Skylar Walt, and Tifalia Walton. Congratulations. Kids male, Declan Schifrin, Isaiah Mangiano, and Logan Zhang. Mature kids, male, Charlie Ball, Will Armstein, and Jake Schionti. Mature kids female, Lily Mollinger, Corinne Capriati, and Bella Palmer. Preteens female, Rebecca Cornwall, Karnia Choi, and Ava Long. Preteens male, Kyla Rothen, Jackson Ardos, and Paul Woods. Teens female, Peace Lopez, Paris Juarez, and Addie Herman. Teens male, Joshua Pippel, Aiden Wood, and True Becker. Young adult female, Emily Orth, Caitlin Capello, and Julia Bainbridge. young adult male, Jason Sinodi, Luke Dillian, and Nolan LaJoyle. Masters female, Michelle Callahan, Daria Beard, Mandy Reveal. Masters male, Matthew Torriello, Todd Mitchell, and Michael McPherson. Pro female, Tegan Robal, Casey Rothschild, and Jesse Lebrecht. And finally, pro male, Caleb Bergstrom, Matt Strollo, and Adam Rail. So those are your top 3 of all the divisions. Congratulations to everyone who won this year. You earned it. This was not an easy course. They just like doing little things at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing, I interviewed Thomas Stillings just a little bit before, and he was like, he went up against, and like last year, Lauren Ball, he did like put his hat down, like the Naruto ninja run thing out. Cool. So what's these guys?
Something in common we all do.
Grant McCartney ended by flexing his. Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about to end this on a more positive note is that even though the event itself had a lot of down moments, and I do mean a lot of down moments, the people who were there helped keep the event great for me. Well, I wouldn't say it was so much it made the event great. I would say it made good use of my time in keeping me happy that I went in the first place. Between the interviews that I did, for those you don't know, I ended up doing 7 interviews this year with 8 different ninjas. I'll tell you all of them right now. It was Chris Wilczewski, Josh Levin, Delano Hines from Barbados, Thomas Stillings, Kevin Carbone, Lucas Gomez, and the duo of Jesse Lebrecht and Chris DeGangi. You'll see all those in the coming weeks uploaded to this channel. And I thank everyone for doing an interview. Also, just all my friends and just the people that I end up having conversations with, a lot of ninjas who apparently know who I am. And I was not aware that they know who I am, and many of them who watch me. I'm going to list a lot of people, and I apologize in advance if I had a conversation with you, and I don't list you right now, because I am easily forgettable. I want to say, obviously, I want to thank Alex Cunningham, once again, Philip Scott, Derek Miyamoto. I had a great conversation with him, talked about Takeshi's Castle. Mike Bernardo was super happy he was able to make it for the last day. Dana Fisher, thanks again for keeping company. Lucas Reale, we had some fun. We got to play some games together. That was great. Big shout outs to you. Donovan Metoyer, the best looking ninja on the entire course. Thank you for your words of encouragement. Ben Polson from Australia and USA versus the world. Thank you so much for all of the kind words that you gave me. I don't deserve the praise that you gave me, and I appreciate you trying to get your friends to watch my stuff. It is greatly appreciated. Oh boy, I am forgetting more people. RJ Roman, super nice dude. Really glad I had an opportunity to conversate with him. Callie Alexander, really nice dude. Another person who recognized me. Great talking to him. Perry Osterley, it was great to see him again. Always great to see him again. I hope he does well in all of his future events that he does, traveling the world and everything. Dave and Mark Ravi, always great to see them come from Australia. I hope the gym continues to be successful for you guys. Oh boy, I know I'm forgetting people. Of course, James McGrath. Oh my God, yes. Oh, it's great to see you. You're very supportive. I thank you very much. Thank you very much. Of course, Joe Meissner. Again, he is someone to look out for in the future. He is a very talented individual. There was this random guy that I was talking to in the crowd whose name I don't remember. I apologize. There were a few fans who approached me, some very young, and thank you for reminding me why I don't curse in my videos. But everyone who came up to me and said thank you, or that they like my stuff and recognized me, thank you very much appreciated. Also, I just want to say, in terms of the people who I interviewed, thank you, Chris, for taking the time. I know you were very busy. Thank you, Josh, for doing it for me. And again, with nice words. Delano, such a pleasure to get to meet you again. Jesse and Chris, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I know you had no idea who I was, and I appreciate anyone who's willing to do an interview despite having no idea who I am. Lucas, oh man, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I hope your YouTube channel continues to be successful. Thomas Stillings, holy crap, I was blown away by the nice things that you had to say to me, especially at the end when we said goodbye. I cannot put fully into words how much those words meant to me that you said. I know I'm forgetting more people, and I feel so bad at this point. Kevin Carbone, it was great to interview you. You are a smart dude with optical design. Keep doing what you're doing. Brian Wilczewski, it was great seeing you again. Great talking to you again. I don't know if you watched this video because you said you might not. I understand if you don't watch this video because of your involvement with the NNL. And everyone else. I apologize if I forgot you. There's so many nice people. I think the biggest takeaway about the NNL as a whole is that there are a lot of really good people. Louis Mosso! Oh my god, Louis Mosso. I almost forgot. Seeing you again. Michelle Warnke, great to see you again. Jeff Britton, again, also great to see you again. Maybe next year we'll finally get that interview done. Oh well. I just want to say that, like, the ninja community as a whole, you know, even though there are issues at times, is pretty great. You know, where everyone is so supportive. The amount of support and acceptance that so many of you have shown me is always mind-blowing every time I go to one of these events. I feel like I don't deserve it, but yet you continue to say nice things to me. And I just can't thank you all enough. Again, I apologize if I forgot to mention you after having a conversation with you. There's just so many people that I forget sometimes. Jake, oh, it was good to see you again, Jake Murray. We barely got to talk too much, but, you know, good to see Grant McCartney again. He made out like a bandit. He sold a lot of shirts, so good for you, buddy. Good for you. I don't know what else to say other than that, like, the weekend itself was rough. It ended at 9:30, which means I didn't get home until 12 in the morning, and then I had work the next day. I think the staff at the NNL, I understand you had a huge undertaking. There's some kinks to work out. I think you guys are well aware at most of the kinks. I don't think you need me to tell you anything. I think you're well aware of, like, most of the stuff that happened that went wrong. And I am confident that you guys will make things better for season 5. For anyone watching this, and if you were discouraged by the National Ninja League, I don't take pleasure in making this video, in complaining about the various, issues that I had with the event, because I have been a supporter of the National Ninja League since, the very first season. We did the spot for Final Stage podcast. You know, I've been there since, you know, the first finals, talking to competitors, document the event, talk about how great it is. I believe in the National Ninja League in getting better, and I believe the National Ninja League has what it takes to prove me wrong in making ninja a sport, because I've always kind of been of the opinion that ninja can't become a sport, but if anyone can prove me wrong, it is the National Ninja League, and I want them to prove me wrong. And I just hope that this event doesn't hurt them. So all I'll say is that don't give up on the National Ninja League. They're good people doing good things, and I have full confidence that next year's finals will be so much better. And you know what? I'll say this. The National Ninja League Season 4 World Championships wasn't even the worst Ninja Warrior competition I watched in February. So, at least they have that going for it. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on this year's National Ninja League Finals. Make sure you subscribe for more NNL and Ninja Warrior related videos, and I'll make sure to see you next time.